In 1996, a family of four filmed themselves smiling and laughing inside their rental car. They had no idea they were looking at the last 60 seconds of their lives. And the worst part? They weren't killed by a criminal, an animal, or a sudden accident. They were systematically erased by a single line drawn on a cheap piece of paper. When investigators finally stumbled upon their abandoned vehicle deep in Death Valley, USA, the keys were missing, the tires were shredded, and the water bottles were bone dry. It would take 13 harrowing years for the desert to reveal the terrifying psychological horror story of what happened after the camera stopped rolling. The family, Egbert, his girlfriend Cornelia, and his two young children, Max and Sabrina, were tourists from Germany on a dream vacation. But they drove straight into a living hell. It was the peak of summer, and the ground temperature was a blistering 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to melt the rubber off your shoes, hot enough to cause total organ failure within hours. Stranded in a dry, sandy riverbed, investigators found their only clue resting on the dashboard, a tourist map. That map was a fatal lie. Egbert had been relying on an outdated brochure showing a shortcut called the Apache Trail that seemingly bypassed the valley. But the trail didn't exist. It was a geographical error. By following it, Egbert hadn't found a shortcut. He had driven his family directly into a natural, inescapable oven surrounded by miles of sheer rock walls. They were trapped. For over a decade, the case went completely cold. The desert swallowed them whole. Until 2009, when an obsessive wilderness searcher tracked their logical path of panic. Miles from the van, he uncovered the horrifying reality of their final nights. Based on the location of their final campsite, the family had collapsed under the pathetic shade of a single desert bush. From that exact spot, as the midnight delirium set in, they could likely see the perimeter lights of an active military base flickering across the valley. Safety was right there, staring at them in the dark. They could see salvation, but between them and survival lay an impassable military fence and miles of blistering, lethal salt flats. They watched the lights of rescue every night, knowing no one was coming. For over a decade, the case went completely cold. The desert swallowed them whole. Until 2009, when an obsessive wilderness searcher tracked their logical path of panic. Miles from the van, he uncovered the horrifying reality of their final nights. History is full of hidden details that rewrite what we think we know. If this story sent a chill down your spine, hit that like button and subscribe to turn on notifications. Don't let the next forgotten mystery slide into the shadows. See you in the next deep dive.